Hello, everyone. Welcome to Voice of English. This is the place where you can learn English by listening and practicing every day. Each day, we share simple lessons and helpful tips to help you speak English better and with confidence. So get ready to listen, learn, and speak English naturally.
In today's episode, you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also your English speaking and thinking skills. In today's lesson, we're diving into one of the most powerful skills that will help you improve your English fluency and comprehension, how to think in English naturally. We will go through real-life practice examples that will help you understand how native speakers think in English, how to stop translating in your mind, and how to make English a natural part of your daily life. Whether you're having conversations, making decisions, or simply observing the world around you, learning to think directly in English is one of the fastest ways to sound fluent and confident when you speak. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to train your brain to think in English, and I'll share practical tips and techniques that you can use every day to build this skill. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper. Let's get started. Many English learners around the world struggle with a common challenge. They study English for years, but when it comes to real conversations, they find themselves translating from their native language into English in their minds. This process takes time and slows down their speaking. It also creates confusion and often leads to mistakes. When you translate in your head, you are not really speaking fluently. You are still thinking in your native language and only changing the words into English. True fluency starts when you begin to think directly in English. Your ideas come in English, and you express them smoothly without stopping or translating. This is exactly the skill we are going to explore today. Thinking in English is not only about speaking faster, it is about feeling comfortable and confident with English in your everyday life. When your mind begins to operate in English naturally, you start speaking faster, understanding better, and even connecting with English culture more clearly. It opens the door to true confidence and fluency. But how can you start thinking in English? Is it something that only happens after many years of study? The answer is no. You can start building this skill today. You just need the right techniques and regular practice. When we understand how the brain works with languages, it becomes clear how we can learn this skill. When you were a child, learning your first language, you did not translate. You simply heard words many times in different situations. You connected those words to actions, emotions, and things around you, slowly. Your mind began to think automatically in that language. The same process can happen with English, no matter how old you are or what your first language is. You need to create connections between English words and your thoughts, actions, and feelings. Instead of connecting English words to your native language words, you connect them directly to your experiences. Let's begin with a simple exercise. Right now, look around the room you're in. Notice the objects around you: a chair, a table, a window, a book. Instead of thinking in your language and translating to English, simply say the English words in your mind as you see each object: chair, table, window, book. Try doing this throughout your day. When you are walking on the street, look at a tree and think, tree. See a car and think, car. See a dog and think, Dog. This is the first step to start training your brain to think in English naturally. After you feel comfortable naming objects, you can move to simple actions. When you are brushing your teeth, think, brush teeth. When you are opening the door, think, open door. When you are drinking water, think, drink water. These small, simple phrases help you connect English directly to your actions. With time and practice, your brain will start using English words automatically for everyday activities. Now we can start describing what is happening around us. For example, you are sitting at a table and drinking coffee. In your mind, you can say, I'm sitting at the table. I'm drinking coffee. The coffee is hot. It tastes good. The table is brown. By describing your actions and surroundings in simple English sentences, you are teaching your brain to process your world directly in English. Let's try an example together. Imagine you are walking outside on a sunny day. You can think these sentences in English. I am walking outside. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. There are birds in the sky. I hear the sound of cars. I feel the wind on my face. These short sentences create a clear picture in your mind, and they help you practice thinking in English in a natural way. Another useful method is to talk to yourself in English throughout the day. For example, when you are making a shopping list, think in English. I need to buy milk. I need to buy bread. I will go to the store. Or, when you are planning your day, think in English. Today, I will meet my friend. We will have lunch together. After lunch, I will go home and read a book. These self-talk exercises are simple, but powerful. They help your brain to use English naturally in daily life situations. Now let's use visual imagination. When you imagine a scene in your mind, try to describe it using English words. For example, imagine you're at the beach. You can think, the sand is soft, the water is blue. I hear the waves. I feel relaxed. Visualizing and describing scenes helps build strong connections between images and English words in your mind, just like native speakers do. Another great way to think in English is to ask yourself questions in English and answer them in English. You can start with simple questions like, what time is it? It is 10 o'clock. What am I doing? I'm studying English. Where am I going? I'm going to the park. As you get more confident, you can ask more complex questions like, what did I do yesterday? Yesterday, I visited my friend. We went to a restaurant. We talked for a long time. This type of internal dialogue helps develop your thinking skills in English. Let's do an example together. Ask yourself these questions and answer them in your mind. In English, what is my favorite food? My favorite food is pizza. Why do I like it? I like it because it tastes delicious. When do I usually eat it? I usually eat it on weekends. Who do I eat it with? I eat it with my family. This exercise helps you to develop longer and more meaningful thoughts in English. Listening and reading in English also helps you think in English. When you listen to English podcasts or watch English videos, try to understand the meaning directly without translating. Focus on the main ideas and feelings. The more you expose your brain to English, the faster it will learn to think in English naturally. When you read books or articles in English, imagine the scenes and understand the concepts directly in English without thinking in your native language. Another useful exercise is to review your day in English before going to bed. Think about what you did from morning to evening. You can say in your mind, I woke up at 7. I ate breakfast. I went to work. I had lunch with my friend. I came home and relaxed. By reviewing your day in English, you practice thinking about past events in English, which strengthens your ability to express yourself clearly. At this point, you might wonder if grammar mistakes are a problem when thinking in English. The answer is no. When you practice thinking in English, it is okay to make small grammar mistakes. The goal is to build fluency and comfort first. Accuracy will improve naturally, over time, as you get more experience. Do not worry about being perfect. Just focus on expressing your ideas clearly. Another tip is to change the language settings on your phone, computer, and apps to English. When you see menus, notifications, and messages in English every day, your brain starts to get used to English in practical situations. For example, when you open your phone and see the word settings instead of your native language, your brain connects that English word directly to the function. This daily exposure helps build natural thinking habits in English. Let's try one more example together. Imagine you are cooking dinner. You can think, I'm cooking dinner. I'm cutting vegetables. I'm boiling water. The food smells good. I will eat dinner soon. These simple thoughts help make English part of your routine. A very effective way to increase your ability to think in English naturally is to practice short storytelling in your mind. Every day, choose a small event from your life and tell the story to yourself in English. For example, imagine you want to tell the story of going to the market. You can think, yesterday I went to the market. I walked there in the afternoon. The weather was warm. At the market, I bought apples, bananas, and bread. I talked to the shopkeeper. He was very friendly. After shopping, I walked home. I made a fruit salad with the apples and bananas. It was delicious. By telling short and simple stories like this in your mind, you are building your ability to organize thoughts and express past events in English without translating. This helps you prepare for real conversations and increases your confidence. Another way to deepen your thinking in English is to describe your feelings and emotions. Throughout the day, notice how you feel and express it to yourself in English. For example, I feel happy today. I'm excited to learn English. I feel a little tired after work. I'm relaxed now. I'm enjoying my coffee. Expressing emotions helps you make stronger personal connections with English, making it feel like a natural part of your life. You can also use English to set goals and make plans. For example, today I will study English for 1 hour. I will learn new vocabulary. Tomorrow, I will practice speaking with a friend. This weekend, I will watch an English movie. By using English for planning, you are training your brain to use English for future thinking, which is another important part of fluency. When you have free time, it can be helpful to play simple thinking games in English. One easy game is to choose a letter of the alphabet and think of as many words as possible that start with that letter. For example, if you choose the letter B, you can think book, ball, bag, bottle, bird, bread. This exercise strengthens your vocabulary recall and keeps your mind active in English. Another game is to describe an object in as many ways as possible. For example, take the word apple. You can think, an apple is round. It is red or green. It is sweet. It is a fruit. I like to eat apples. Apples are healthy. By describing things fully, you practice using adjectives, verbs, and other parts of speech in a natural flow. A useful habit is to write a short diary in English every day. It does not have to be long or perfect. You can simply write a few sentences about what you did, how you felt, and what you plan to do. For example, today was a good day. I studied English for 1 hour. I learned new words. I went for a walk in the evening. The weather was nice. I feel happy about my progress. Writing helps you organize your thoughts in English, which improves both your writing and speaking skills over time. It is also important to practice thinking in English when you are in different moods. For example, when you are happy, you can think, I feel so happy today. The sun is shining. Everything looks beautiful. When you are sad, you can think, I feel a little sad today. It was a hard day. I hope tomorrow will be better. When you are angry, you can think, I feel angry because something bad happened. I need to calm down. Practicing in different emotional situations makes your thinking more flexible and natural. Another advanced exercise is to give your opinions in English in your mind. For example, you can think, I like this movie because it is interesting. I do not like that song because it is too loud. In my opinion, learning English is very important. Giving opinions helps you develop more complex and meaningful thoughts in English, which is important for fluent communication. You can also imagine having conversations in English in your mind. For example, imagine you are meeting a friend and saying, Hello, how are you? I am fine, thank you. What did you do today? I went to the park. It was nice. Imagining conversations helps prepare your mind for real-life speaking situations. You can even practice different situations, like ordering food in a restaurant. You can think, I would like a coffee, please. Can I have a sandwich? How much is it? Thank you. These imagined dialogues give you useful phrases and make you feel ready for real conversations. A key idea to remember is that it is better to think in simple and clear English than to struggle with complex and difficult sentences. Simple sentences like, I am eating lunch, or I like this book, are very powerful for building fluency. Over time, as you become more comfortable, you can make your sentences longer and more detailed naturally. Do not feel pressure to speak like a native speaker from the beginning. Focus on clarity and simplicity first. Let's do another example together. Imagine you are going to the park. You can think, I'm going to the park. The weather is nice. I see green trees. I hear birds singing. I am walking on the path. I feel happy and relaxed. I sit on a bench. I watch people walking. The sky is blue. These simple thoughts describe your experience clearly and help your brain practice English naturally. One more technique is to listen to English music and try to understand the meaning of the lyrics directly. You can sing along or think about what the song is saying. This helps connect English words with emotions and rhythm, which makes it easier to remember and think in English later. It is also helpful to watch English movies or TV shows with subtitles in English. When you read and listen at the same time, you can understand the meaning more quickly without translating. Try to repeat short phrases in your mind after hearing them. For example, if a character says, How are you doing? You can repeat it silently in your mind and think about when you might use it in your life. This builds natural phrases and expressions in your thinking. Another tip is to keep a vocabulary notebook where you write new words and short sentences using them. For example, if you learn the word excited, you can write, I am excited to learn English. When you review these sentences later, try to remember the meaning and say them in your mind without looking at the translation. Finally, Remember that thinking in English is a skill that improves with regular practice, not something that happens instantly. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the process. Even if you start with just a few words and simple sentences, you are making progress. The more you practice, the more natural it will feel. And soon, you will find yourself thinking in English without even trying. Another very powerful exercise to improve your ability to think in English naturally is to describe your surroundings as you move through your day. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you can think, I am getting out of bed. The room is quiet. I open the window. The air is fresh. I see the sunrise. The sky is orange. These small descriptions create a habit where you observe the world and talk about it in English inside your mind. As you brush your teeth, you can think, I am brushing my teeth. The water is cold. The toothpaste tastes fresh. I am looking in the mirror. My day is starting. These kinds of observations keep your mind active and make English part of your daily life. When you are outside, you can describe everything you see. For example, I am walking down the street. I see cars passing by. There is a red bus. People are walking. A man is riding a bicycle. The trees are green. The flowers are colorful. I hear birds singing. I smell fresh bread from a bakery. The sun feels warm on my skin. These detailed thoughts help you connect English words to real experiences, which makes the language feel more natural and alive. You can also describe what people are doing. For example, she is talking on the phone. He is carrying a bag. They are laughing together. The children are playing in the park. By describing actions, you practice verbs and sentence structure, which helps your speaking and thinking flow smoothly. If you are at work or school, you can think, my colleague is typing on the computer. The teacher is writing on the board. The students are reading their books. I am writing notes. All of these small practices combine to give you stronger skills in expressing actions and observations in English. Another useful habit is to ask yourself small questions in English throughout the day. For example, what time is it? What will I eat for lunch? Where am I going now? How do I feel? These questions keep your mind engaged in English and help you practice useful question forms naturally. You can also answer them simply. It is 10 o'clock. I will eat a sandwich. I'm going to the shop. I feel good. This back and forth creates an active thinking process that is closer to real conversation. When you are reading something in your own language, you can try to translate small parts into English in your mind. For example, if you read a sentence about someone visiting a friend, you can think in English. He is visiting his friend today. They will have tea together. They are talking about their day. Even simple translations like these help you build the habit of moving between languages quickly, without stress. It is also useful to practice giving instructions in English in your mind. For example, if you are cooking, you can think, first, I cut the vegetables. Now, I heat the pan. I add oil. I put the vegetables in the pan. I stir them. They are cooking well. This step-by-step thinking strengthens your ability to explain processes in English clearly, which is a very valuable skill for communication. Another advanced way to think in English naturally is to express your opinions about things you experience during the day. For example, after watching a movie, you can think, I liked that movie. The story was interesting. The actors were very good. The ending was surprising. Or if you read a news article, you can think, That was an important story. I agree with the writer. It made me think about the situation. Giving opinions helps you create deeper and more complex thoughts, which is important for higher levels of fluency. When you are talking to people in your own language, you can sometimes pause and ask yourself, how would I say that in English? For example, if someone says, I will meet you at 5 o'clock, you can think in English, I will meet you at 5 o'clock. If someone says, the weather is very nice today, you can think, the weather is very nice today. This habit helps you connect your real-life experiences with English naturally and prepares you for similar conversations in English later. It is important to remember that you do not have to speak out loud to practice thinking in English. Silent thinking is just as powerful. You can do it anywhere, at home, on the bus, in the park, or while waiting in line. The key is to keep your mind active and make English a regular part of your internal world. Over time, this habit will grow stronger, and you will notice that English comes to you more quickly and smoothly. Let's try another practice example together. Imagine you are in a coffee shop. You can think, I am sitting in a coffee shop. The table is small and clean. I have a cup of coffee. It smells good. I take a sip. The coffee is hot and strong. There is soft music playing. People are talking quietly. The waiter is bringing food to the table. Outside the window, I see people walking by. These simple and clear thoughts help build vocabulary and confidence in describing everyday situations. Another helpful idea is to think about your past experiences and future plans in English. For example, yesterday I visited my friend. We talked for 2 hours. We drank tea and ate snacks. It was fun. Or, tomorrow I will go to the supermarket. I will buy milk, bread, and eggs. I will cook dinner at home. Thinking about past and future events gives you practice with different tenses, which makes your language use more flexible. You can also practice imagining future conversations. For example, if you plan to visit a doctor, you can think, what will I say? I will say, hello, doctor. I have a headache. It started yesterday. I feel tired. What should I do? Preparing in this way makes real-life situations less stressful and helps you feel more confident when you need to speak English. A powerful method to make your English thinking stronger is to repeat useful phrases many times in your mind. For example, phrases like, how are you? Nice to meet you. Can you help me? I do not understand. Could you repeat that? These common expressions are very useful in daily life, and by repeating them silently, you make them automatic in your memory. If you like reading stories or novels in English, try to imagine the scenes and characters in your mind as you read. For example, if the story says, a man is walking in the rain, close your eyes and imagine it clearly while thinking in English. He is walking in the rain. His umbrella is black. The street is wet. The rain is falling softly. This combination of imagination and language builds stronger connections and helps you think more fluently. It is also a good idea to practice comparisons in English in your mind. For example, this coffee is stronger than the one I had yesterday. This book is more interesting than the last one. The weather today is colder than yesterday. Making comparisons helps you practice adjectives and complex sentence forms naturally. You can also express hopes and wishes. For example, I hope to visit England one day. I wish I could speak English fluently. These thoughts give you practice with more complex grammar forms and make your internal English richer and more expressive. Finally, always remind yourself to enjoy the process. Thinking in English is not a test or a race. It is a habit that grows slowly, step by step. Every time you describe something, ask a question, give an opinion, or imagine a scene in English, you're improving. Trust the process. Be patient with yourself and celebrate every small success. Soon, you will find that English becomes a natural and easy part of how you think every day. Another excellent practice that you can use every day is to reflect on your day in English before you go to sleep. As you lie in bed, you can think about everything you did during the day. For example, you can say to yourself, "Today, I woke up early. I made breakfast. I went to work. I had a meeting with my team. We discussed a new project. I ate lunch with my colleagues. After work, I went for a walk. I watched a movie in the evening. Now, I'm in bed and I feel tired but happy." By reviewing your day in English, you build a strong habit of using past tense sentences naturally. It also gives you a clear picture of how to describe daily routines, which is very useful in conversations. You can also practice thinking in English by planning your next day before you sleep. For example, tomorrow I will wake up at 7 o'clock. I will have breakfast. I will go to work at 9. I will finish my report. I will call my friend in the evening. I will read a book before bed. This simple exercise prepares your mind to organize future actions using the correct tenses and vocabulary in English. An enjoyable way to make English thinking even stronger is to imagine stories. You can create small stories in your mind using simple sentences. For example, there is a man named John. He lives in New York. He works in a big office. One day, he meets a woman named Sarah. They become friends. They go to a coffee shop together. They talk about their hobbies. They both like music. Over time, they become good friends. Creating stories like this lets you practice connecting sentences and ideas in a fun and creative way. Another good idea is to think about your hobbies and interests in English. For example, if you like cooking, you can think, "I like cooking. I often cook pasta. I boil water. I add salt. I put the pasta in the water. I cook it for 10 minutes. Then I make sauce. I mix them together. It tastes delicious." Or if you like music, you can think, "I like listening to music. I listen to pop music. My favorite singer is Taylor Swift. Her songs are beautiful. I listen to music when I feel relaxed." These thoughts connect English with things you enjoy, which makes learning easier and more enjoyable. You can also practice describing your feelings in English. For example, "I feel happy today. I'm excited about my trip. I'm a little tired after work. I feel relaxed when I read a book." Expressing emotions helps you talk about yourself naturally in conversations. It also makes your English sound more real and personal. If you are walking somewhere, try to give directions in English in your mind. For example, "Turn left at the corner. Go straight for 2 blocks. Turn right at the traffic light. The shop is on the left side." These simple direction sentences are very useful for travel and everyday communication. Practicing them helps you get ready for real-life situations where you may need to explain locations. You can also describe people's appearance in English silently. For example, "She has long brown hair. She's wearing a red dress. He is tall and has short black hair. He's wearing glasses. They are smiling and talking together. This practice builds vocabulary related to physical description, which is important for many types of conversations. If you enjoy watching movies or TV shows in your own language, you can try thinking about what the characters are saying in English. For example, if you see a character saying, "I will meet you at the restaurant," you can repeat that sentence in your mind. If someone says, "That was a great idea," you can think about how to say it naturally in English. This method helps you learn conversational phrases that are commonly used in daily life. You can also talk to yourself silently about your goals and dreams. For example, in the future, I want to travel to Canada. I want to learn to play the guitar. I want to improve my English fluency. I want to meet new people from different countries. These thoughts make your internal English rich and positive, and they prepare you to express personal ideas clearly when speaking to others. A final useful activity is to review useful vocabulary silently during the day. For example, if you recently learned words like beautiful, interesting, and comfortable, you can think, "This chair is comfortable. That building is beautiful. This book is interesting." Repeating new words in real situations in your mind helps you remember them faster and use them more confidently in speech. Remember that it is normal to make small mistakes when thinking in English. The goal is not to be perfect, but to keep going. If you do not know a word, you can describe it simply. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you can think, "It is the thing I use when it rains. It keeps me dry." Describing ideas like this trains your brain to keep communicating in English, even when your vocabulary is limited. Over time, you will learn more words, and these gaps will disappear. Thinking in English is like training a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. In the beginning, it might feel slow and difficult, but if you practice every day with small steps, you will see big progress. One day, you will notice that you are thinking in English without effort. That is a sign of real fluency. To finish, let's do one more practice example together. Imagine you are in a bookstore. You can think, "I am in a bookstore. There are many books on the shelves. I see novels, history books, and magazines. I pick up a novel. The cover is colorful. I open the book and read the first page. The story is interesting. I see a person buying a book at the counter. The cashier is smiling. I decide to buy a book. I walk to the counter. I pay for the book. I leave the store and feel happy." This kind of clear and detailed thinking trains all parts of your English: vocabulary, sentences, verbs, and real-life expressions. If you practice these techniques regularly, you will create a powerful habit of thinking in English naturally. It will make your speaking faster, your listening sharper, and your confidence stronger. Remember, every time you describe something, plan something, or express an idea in English, even silently, you are improving. Keep going. Be patient with yourself and enjoy the journey of making English a natural part of your thoughts every day. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I hope you found this lesson helpful and that you're now ready to start thinking in English naturally every day. Remember, the more you practice these simple habits, the faster your fluency and confidence will grow. Don't worry about mistakes. Just keep going step by step, and you will see great results.